Cars 24/7. I'm Steve. This is my 2JZ FRS. It's currently sitting on the dyno at 886 horsepower. But over the course of the winter, there was a lot of work and a lot of money to get it to this point. I filmed those segments. Here's a short snippet of where we've been. Today it is March, I think it's 19th, 2024, middle of winter. We're doing upgrades to the car. If you remember, if you saw in the last video, the last time I had this car out at the drag strip, we blew up third gear. So third gear, not having a third gear is not terrible. I mean, it's a transmission. But instead of just doing the transmission, it was time. The built block was right about getting done. And so we're basically putting a whole new setup in it. As you can see here. Well, there's a tire and a wheel. And yeah, so we're kind of going overboard this winter. We're doing a built block. The cylinder head's gonna be all fresh. Obviously the transmission's gonna be new. Well, this is the machine shop and one of the brothers.
Oh no, you don't want to put me on TV.
What do you wanted?
No.
So they do all the machine work on all my stuff, and they said that one of my retainers, my titanium retainers, was damaged. So here are new titanium retainers and some new springs. You know, it's just money, so we'll just drop that off. Today is the day I'm going to be putting the cylinder head on the block. We're going to close it all up. It's going to be done, and we'll hope it works. I have high hopes for this block. This is a CP pistons, boost line rods, King engine bearings, race engine bearings, billet main caps, and then all the accessories are just from what was on it. And then we've got our cylinder head with the new valves. Got to take those cams off. Full-blown motorsports in my home shop. This is our guy, the mysterious Beardy Man. And what Beardy Man's doing now is he is loading up our 2000cc injectors that we run with E85, and we're gonna run them on this machine just more or less to get any old E85 running out of it, and also make sure they're clean, and also make sure they're flowing evenly. You wouldn't want an injector that's flowing way more on cylinder whatever than. So Beardy Man's about to run this, and you know, just another small detail of just putting a whole new setup together. And then we'll put them on top of here, and we'll flow them, and then they'll all flow about the same, and then we're good to go. Got the intake manifold with the fuel injectors that we ran through the fuel injector machine. Everything's good. We got our Toyota head gasket and an HKS timing belt. This came with a project, so
the can popping off, huh?
this is a sketchy part of the 2J assembly. If you gotta evenly torque all the cams down, or you will crack them very easily. I actually did it on my first set of cams, cracked them in half. So we're having the real engine builder from Full Blown Motorsports here on Easter, making sure we're good. The old technician.
That won't clean up. I mean, I could go further, but we're going to make it so thin.
That's a lot better than it was.
Yeah, it was this spot here. We had a really big drop off here and here. We had one over here, but that cleaned up pretty good. But
as long as we seal around these things,
oh, yeah,
I think we're good.
Yep.
Well, I am in Zimmerman, Minnesota on my day off still, where I've met Mr. Pete here. He also does YouTube, does like G35, 350, 370.
Nissan stuff.
Yep. Which is why I came to talk to him, because we got this. So this is the next CD009 that I'll be breaking. It's a great, it's like 50,000 miles on this thing. What is this thing? G37.
Yep. So base model G37 with a 20,000 mile VQ37, a Vortec Pro charger, V3 SI, fully customized suspension. Just rip some hard corners, have some fun at Power Cruise. I'm not a drag guy by any means, so.
That looks fun.
Yeah.
Well, this is your main garage. Like, what are you working on in the external garage?
Nothing. I'll show you the garage though, you might like it.
But you have the
it's just side work I do out of here.
So you have a project car in the main garage, and then this man cave in here, you've got like a daily driver. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Kinda.
My garage is a disaster.
I know, I was just showing everyone on YouTube what a mess you've got going on here. You gonna watch me manhandle this thing?
Yes, I am.
Nice, here we go.
I can even send you the video if you want.
No, that won't be necessary. I do all my own recording. All right.
You can probably back your CRV up.
I'm not gonna destroy this sweatshirt. I don't really want to destroy this shirt either, but.
Okay, I'll leave you alone. I won't talk in your video.
Can you dig it? Oh, it's the put down. That's with your legs. Oh, jeez. Oh, she's all yours. All right, well, here is the transmission stack. Apparently it was cryogenically treated by that company, which is who they subcontract out to, or whatever. Yep, should be fine. Thanks for fixing my transmission. This time on MythBusters, does the CD009 work better if you paint it gold? We're about to find out. Parts. Yep, I am deadly with a spray can. That's Ford semi-gloss black. So we're not getting fancy, but when it comes to spray cans, I get fancy. One of the other things on the docket for this winter was here from McFab Performance Bead Locks. And as you remember, the tire was spinning on the wheel last year. Not a whole lot, but we don't want that. So we sent the wheels out to McFab, who installs this bead lock. And they cut the edge of the wheel off, and then they weld on their flange plate, which is machined so that it helps hold the tire. And essentially what happens is you take all these bolts out, you'll have the ring, it comes off, and then as you put the tire back on, it sandwiches the bead of the wheel. So it cannot possibly move anymore. Because the ring comes inboard, I think it's 13 inches or something like that. Unless you have a certain amount of brake clearance, you cannot do the back. So I couldn't do the back. So what I did was I used... spaces everything out nice, and it puts 16 rim screws. So on the inside we'll be using rim screws, and that's just so that if the tire does try to move, This side obviously is sandwiched between the two rings, so it's not going to move, but we also don't want to like bind up the tire if this side decides to try to move. It wasn't moving a ton, so I think we're going to be good with all of this. Jegs kit, I got the gold ones because, I don't know, seemed higher class. Of course, once you get everything put together and the car actually starts, all the fluids are changed out and everything, you put it here on the dyno. It is like a treadmill for cars. All the sensors hooked up, tuner is able to configure the fuel, air, timing, all the stuff, figure out how much horsepower we're actually going to put down to the rear tires. Coolant gets hot, radiator gets hot, the intercooler gets hot. Currently we are, I think, being limited by that intercooler on the front. That's full-blown motorsports intercooler, 850 horsepower is what they call it, and at 886 it's hating life. On the dyno, ended up with 942 horsepower to the rear wheels. We were thinking that intercooler, the 850 horsepower intercooler, was a little bit of a restriction. Turning up the turbo, it didn't really help. So turning up 2 degrees of timing didn't, it actually dropped 5 horsepower. So we're thinking that turbo is out of gas. I do appreciate TurboSmart for helping me out on this build with their 6870 turbo. I wasn't sure how much it would actually put down. Most turbos are going to be rated to the crank horsepower, which we don't really know that. There's driveline loss, and then it goes to the rear wheels, and that's where it really counts. But 942 horsepower. After a very long winter build, it's August 9th. Damn, it's almost winter again. We have the car out here at Rock Falls Raceway. There's a Pro Stock exhibition. You can see those guys lined up here. And I'm just coming here for the good prep, so hopefully we can run 8s or really destroy it, break it. Well, hopefully not. A little bit of time before they start the test and tune, and we'll see what we've got. That was it. That was the end of the scene. One of the attractions at this race is going to be, they have some like 8 Pro Stock cars here. So they're about to do some exhibition runs before our next qualifying. Show that to you. So far we're at 944 at 152. We're getting somewhere. combination of the first gear spinning all day, and then I went to third gear and I just couldn't find it, and I was like, eh. But throughout the course of that day, I did run my new personal best of 9:44 at 152 miles an hour. I also had a run that was 9:64 at 157 miles an hour, which was my highest mile per hour. So I knew the car had it in it. In first gear, the car was spinning all day long in first gear, and I'm a little bit limited in what I can do and go in the computer and change. What I did try was I tried to lower the launch RPM by 200 RPM every run, and it just wasn't doing it. We ended the day with a little bit more knowledge and a car that seemingly wanted to run 8s. The whole point of throwing money at this car and just doing what I was trying to do was to say that I had an 8-second stick shift street car, and car seemed to want it. It just needed a little bit more work. Throughout that day, my 60-foot times were like in the 1.8 range, and my best one would have been 1:37 last year. So there's my half second right there. I just have to figure out how to get this first gear to not spin and get out down the track. So I talked to the tuner and figured out how to lower the boost in first gear, and make changes like that that would maybe help us get to where we were going. So we decided to pack the car up once again and go to Brainerd International Raceway in Minnesota for the muscle car shootout. Muscle car shootout had a lot of cars there. We had to wait quite a bit to get our first run in, and you know, we got the hotels and all the stuff, all the money spent to be there early in the morning to make sure we were able to get enough runs in. And here's what happened. And that was third gear. After leaving in first, it's spinning more, and hit third gear, let the clutch out, just heard clack, 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 clackety, clack, clackerton. I don't think there's any transmission left. It's not like I don't have third gear and I have all the other gears like before. Now the shifter is just basically like welded into place and it does nothing. So there goes another CD009 transmission. Honestly, to change the transmission to something that would work, we'd need a new conversion plate to the 2J to whatever transmission I go with, a new drive shaft, a new rear gear. All of this is going to cost about $9,000. And honestly, to chase just being able to say I had an 8-second stick shift street car, I'm not willing to spend that. That's how it went down, and that's how it goes down sometimes, and this is racing. The next video will definitely be a walk around video. I think I'm going to show what it might cost if you were going to try to build a car like this, all the individual parts and what that costs. And also it's going to be a good time for possibly a potential new owner of this car to see everything on the car and maybe call me. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time, because we cars 24/7.